How is it going, my good friends at PokeMoshPit? My name is Tommy, and today I'm bringing you a battle against Wilechase. And I was on the Smogon Battle Finder, as you do, just looking for a PU/NU match, and Wilechase challenged me and I said, yep, sounds good, let's go for it. So looking at his team, the main thing he has to kind of threaten my team is the Sork, just because that thing is an absolute beast. Anyone who's ever played NU before, I will be amazed if you haven't come across one of these things. Very powerful. Very fast with the Choice Scarf and a pretty good selection of moves. Kind of close combat, Earthquake, Stone Edge, and I don't know what the last move is. I never actually find out what that fourth move is on Sork, but maybe Retaliate or Reversal, I don't really know, but yeah, anyways, I'll lead with my Bayonet here. Now, I don't know if I predicted this or not, but I think I'll go for a T-Wave. My initial plan was, I was thinking he was going to go for a Protect, and then I was going to T-Wave, and then go for a Sucker Punch on the Brave Bird just to get some damage on. Because I pretty much just decided that Bayonet wasn't going to be all that useful, and it seems bad idea just, you know, Death Foddering off something on the first turn, but I thought nothing's going to want to switch into Swallow anyway, so it does kind of work out for me because he does go into his Electabuzz. Get the Paralysis on that guy, which is great. I, for a split second, thought he had the Motor Drive, but luckily it doesn't. I guess that's only Evi that gets that. But now he's going to Volt Switch out. It kind of works out ideally for me because he's not going to be able to take me out with a Volt Switch. That means I can get off some Sucker Punch damage on the Swallow here, and he's going to take Brave Bird Recoil. Obviously he can't Facade because I'm a Ghost, and that's kind of brought him down to a range where pretty much anything will kill him off. So I'll go into Mawile here just to try and threaten him out with a Sucker Punch. I think it's pretty much the standard to have Sucker Punch on a Mawile, so I was just sort of hoping that he would kind of know that I would have the Sucker Punch and try and switch out. Which is why I'm going to go for the Swords Dance, and I guess either way, Swallow can't really do too much to Mawile anyway. Now he brings in War Turtle here, go for an Iron Head, and that does a pretty good chunk of damage. I think at the time I was hoping for a flinch because I was worried about the possible Scald, but I kind of realised that I have the Sheer Force ability with the Life Orb, so you know, you don't get any of the added bonus like flinch from Iron Head, whatever. I think it's worth it, to be honest. Getting the 33% extra power, plus the no Life Orb recoil is definitely worth that in my opinion. So anyways, going to Tentacle here as he's got his War Turtle. He has Haze, which is a pretty good move to carry on this guy. And for some reason, I don't like to carry Toxic Spikes on my Tentacle. I think it does get it, and it's kind of the standard thing you would run on this guy, but I kind of like having the freedom to do whatever status I want on whatever comes in. As in, I don't want just Poison. Even though it's pretty good if you want some kind of, you know, toxic stalling, kind of gradual wearing down kind of team. It can work, but I just prefer toxic in general. Now I go into Lipid here. I really should have gone for Encore here because I would have got him into the Rapid Spin, but I kind of had a suspicion he might switch out, so that's why I didn't go for it right off the bat. But it does kind of play into my favour a little bit later, hiding the Encore, as you'll probably see. Now he goes for Scold here, that's going to break my sub. Now I do have an attack on this Lipid, but it's Foul Play, and for those who don't know what Foul Play does, Foul Play is a base 95, I want to say, Dark Power move, and it plays off of their attack stat against their defense stat, so it's the equivalent of them attacking themselves with a base 95 power move. And it does take into account, you know, weakness and resistance of Dark type, and the stab bonus from Lipid, which means you can have a max HP, max speed Lipid, and it doesn't need any attack investment to make Foul Play powerful. And this thing is actually the thing that gets the most kills on my teams. Don't ask me how, it just is. Lipid is a bit of a beast. Now I go into my Tentacle here. I kind of think he switched out there, maybe scouting for the Sucker Punch, or maybe just, I don't know, wanting to get Sork in because it was slightly more of a threat than Swallow is. I don't really know, but I go into Tentacle just to Death Fodder off either way. Now I bring in Costa del Solrock to threaten him out with the Will-O-Wisp. And of course, I do have the Levitate ability, which means that, assuming he is Choice Scarfed, he's not going to be able to touch me, so just go for the Stealth Rocks just to get him up there. It does break the sturdy of Sork, and it's good to get the extra damage on Tangler and Dragonair and whatever, so yeah, it's rocks, why not, right? So now I go to Seviper here, just thinking he might go for the Sleep Powder, which wouldn't matter too much because Seviper does have the Shed Skin ability. Now he Death Fodders off his Swallow to see what I'm going to do. Not exactly sure what the standard Seviper set is, but I'm running a special set here with Taunt, Giga Drain, Flamethrower, and Sludge Wave, I believe. I can't remember if it was my Life Orb set or my Expert Belt set, but we'll probably see in a sec. So he's going to get the Leech Seed recovery there on his Dragonair. That's not good for me, but what is good is I do manage to taunt this thing. I don't know why I went for a Dragon Dance there after seeing the taunt, but I guess he assumed that I'd want to predict something else or maybe switch, but I know that Dragonair is not really a big threat unless it does get set up, and it does kind of rely on rest as well to go with the whole shed skin thing. Now here I make a bit of a dodgy play. I go into Morwow here, who can take the waterfall pretty well, but he does still have Sork around, so going for a Swords Dance was a bit of a bad idea, because he can easily threaten me out. And now I pretty much have to pick something else to die, and I figure, okay, nothing's going to live 2 close combats. Solrock might, but I don't want it to take any damage, because I do kind of need it there as kind of my last backup to stop this Sork from sweeping my entire team. So I'm going to go for a Sludge Wave here. I think he switches out just because he didn't want the extra defense drops, but to be honest, I pretty much just clicked a random move and just waited for Seviper to bite the dust pretty much. But he does actually switch out here, which is great because I do manage to get the kill off on Electabuzz. Not that it would have outspared much on my team anyway, being that it was paralyzed, but hey, Seviper gets a kill. That's pretty nice, right? So now I bring in Solrock again. I really need to keep this thing at full health because if I don't, Sork will sweep my team. So I'm going to go for a Will-O-Wisp here just in case he feels lucky and wants to try and stay in and hit me with a close combat. It would do a pretty significant chunk because I am part rock, but yeah, I wouldn't take me out in one hit, I imagine. So anyways, I go for a Will-O-Wisp, do get a burn on the Tangler, which is good for the old residual damage. Now I go to Lightbird here because I guess I didn't really have too much choice at this point because my plan was basically, okay, try and get as much damage as I can on the Tangler, and you know, if he tries any kind of shenanigans or wants to go for Sleep Powder, Lightbird's going to be the thing I care least about, I imagine. I do pretty much need more WoW to actually pull me through this game. Now he goes into Sork as I go for a sub. Now he is going to make a good play here. I really hoped he'd stay in because a lot of people probably would try and stay in on a Lightbird because it's a cat and it's Dark type. What is a Dark type cat going to do to a Sork? Foul Play is actually a pretty good move for stuff like Sork because it does actually play off of their attack stat. So even though it would be resisted, it would do a pretty good chunk, so he made the good play there, switched out to Tangler because it does completely wall me. But now I kind of hatch a little plan to actually come back from this sticky situation. I think, alright, Lightbird, you got this, you're going to set up a sweep for Morwow. Now as beastly as Morwow is, there's nothing it can really do to Sork unless I catch it on the switch with a potential Iron Head or maybe an Ice Punch. Now I do have priority in the form of Sucker Punch, but obviously he resists it, so that's not going to be doing too much to him. Definitely not going to be killing him without a couple of Swords Dances at least. So I figure, okay, get the swagger off on him, because that will at least try and pressurize the switch. Now had I not gone for the swagger there, I probably wouldn't have felt safe bringing in Morwow and going for the Iron Head straight away because it wouldn't have killed Tangler. In fact, you'll see by the damage I do in a sec to it, it would have done barely anything to it, but at least by pressurizing the switch, he probably doesn't feel confident in going for the Sleep Powder because I could just set up on him. So I go for an Iron Head, catch the Sork on the switch in, which is great because now I do get this massive threat out of the way, finish it off with a Sucker Punch. Now he brings back in Tangler and obviously gets the Regenerator boost. Now I'm going to go for an Ice Punch just because that's the hardest thing I have to hit him with. And look how well this beast of a wall takes it. That is a Ice Punch from a Morwow, Sheer Force, Life Orb, and that was a crit. And it still lived, and it didn't start at full health. That is how beastly Tangler is. I remember playing Erica on Pokemon Blue or Red or one of the first gen ones. And I didn't realise why Tangler was living these hits so well, but then I see its defense stat, and that kind of explains it. I mean, it doesn't have a great special defense, but I think it was different in first gen anyway. Either way, Tangler is bulky. Tangler can take a lot of hits, so if you're looking for a good physical wall, use Tangler. So anyways, go for a couple of Ice Punches, and that does take out the Dragonair, so ironically, Morwow is actually going to seal the game in my favour. So, hope you guys enjoyed, and if you did, don't forget to leave a like rating, and check out both of our channels, which will be in the video description. That was a great game chase, hope you guys enjoyed, and like I said, check us both out, and I will see you guys next time. Goodbye.